So my name is Wilma Ternes, and I'm the founder of Life Stages. We're a personalized wellness and development service designed to help people build healthy and aligned lives. Using years of research across psychology, neuroscience, and clinical behavioral health, we empower our users with skill building techniques and cognitive reframing tools to build healthier, more aligned default thought and behavior patterns. Our goal is to help our users cultivate daily practices that promote mind body health and connection to the self and local environment. A little bit more about Life Stages before we jump into our dynamic stretches. Life Stages was part of the Path Ahead Ventures Embark cohort of 2022, which is sponsored in partnership with REI and Founded Outdoor to support BIPOC outdoor entrepreneurs. Since completing Embark, I've been able to stay connected with REI by tabling at local stores, leading employee hikes for local store teams, participating in community events such as the REI She is Beautiful Makers and Shakers Fair, and have even led wellness workshops for REI and partners such as Skate Like a Girl and Brown Girl Surf. Before I go any further, though, I invite you to think about why you're here today. What are you hoping to gain from this session and bring back with you for the rest of the day? Is it an energy? Perhaps a mindset? Maybe you're hoping to cultivate a curious, intentional presence for the day. Or maybe it's something more practical, such as engaging with maybe two of the session skills that you learned here today. What is calling to you? How do you want to relate to the day and the session? As you finalize your intention, I invite you to stand up. You can turn your cameras on or leave them off, though there is something to be said about the energy created when we all move our bodies together and the sense of community that brings even through the screen. So if you do want to challenge yourself and work on your social oxytocin and dopamine, feel free to turn on your cameras, but no pressure. So again, we'll start off standing up, doing some dynamic stretches, nothing major. And we'll start off simply by shaking our bodies a bit. So what does that mean? Just quickly shaking, get the energy flow. It's a quick, easy way to have a burst of oxygen and blood going through your body. And then we're going to transition into a nice, comfortable standing stance. So whenever I say standing stance, this is what I will walk us through. What you want is to have your body as much as possible stacked. So shoulders back and down, back straight, hips over the knees, knees over the ankles, at hip distance apart. And again, feel free to look at the screen if you need any clarification on the body movements. So we'll slowly start to roll our shoulders, initially just moving them as feels natural and good, before slowing down and exaggerating each movement so that we're ensuring the targeting of small muscles and tendons. So we'll do this together. First, move your shoulders up as much as possible. It might even feel uncomfortable. You want to almost feel as if your shoulders are touching your ears. And then, as much as possible, open them back out and down. And again, as opening the chest and the shoulder blades as much as possible, rotating them down to the floor. You'll feel the compression in your shoulder blades in the back as you rotate them down to the floor. And then just simply moving the shoulders forward. So again, this is a very exaggerated roll. It should look like this. And just feel free to do that at your own pace, forward and then backwards. And do that at least 2 to 3 times in each direction. And this shoulder stretch is super easy, but it's really good, especially for people who either work at the computer or just have their hands, maybe a cash register in front of them all day, since it tends to close and concave our shoulders. So again, this simple stretch hitting each little angle of your body is going to wake up and move some of that tightness around. We're going to transition into oblique stretching. So again, making sure that you have your nice, comfortable standing stance, stacked as much as possible. Rotate your shoulders down and backwards, and lift your hands up to the sky. What you want to do is make sure that as you're lifting your hands to the sky, that your shoulders don't go up, but they actually go back down and backwards. And so you want to feel a tension. You want to feel one side of your arm going down towards the floor, your shoulders going down towards the floor, while the tips of your fingers go up towards the ceiling. So you're going to feel a tension going in opposite directions. And again, what that is really good for decompressing. Again, really good for people who are at the computer all day. As you're stretching, make sure that you have your torso nice and straight, and we're going to lean to one side. Make sure that as you're leaning, though, you don't kind of fall back and compress or shift your shoulders or hips. You want all of this, your front body, to be parallel to the wall or the screen. So as feels comfortable, stretching it out, want to make sure that deep stretch of the obliques is felt. So when it's comfortable, go straight to your standing neutral stance and take a deep breath. Exhale before leaning to the other side. And again, ensuring that your hips aren't moving, that your shoulders aren't moving, they're nice stacked, and as much as possible, straight and stretched. And when you're ready, come back to neutral. That again helps decompress our back and shoulders. Again, a lot of us sit or stand throughout the day, but we don't really do it intentionally. So we're hunching, we're compressing our back, maybe we're shifting to one side or our weight is on one side. And again, this helps us tune into our body and make sure that we're stacking everything and bringing good posture throughout the day. Our last little dynamic stretch is going to be ringing. And ringing is really good because it helps vasodilate your internal veins. What's that mean? It helps create extension or stretching in your white blood cells so fresh oxygen gets circulated around your body. It's a really simple stretch. What you do is, again, having your stack stance, hips over ankles, and knees over ankles. So what you want to do is then lift parallel to the floor, your arms as much as possible to the rib cage. And this is really good for standing. So what you'll do is, again, keeping everything straight except for your rib cage. It's going to rotate. And you're going to rotate on each side, initially just going slowly. And then you're going to pick up the pace. But again, ensuring that nothing else but your rib cage, which is connected to your shoulders, your torso connecting to your shoulders, will also move. But your hips aren't moving. Nothing else but your torso and shoulders. And the deeper that you can go, the more that you're ringing your body and you're massaging your internal organs. This also helps with digestion. So if at any point you feel, oh, maybe I didn't digest well, this is also a good exercise to quickly massage the internal organs and digest better. Let's come back to a seated stance. If you've been standing, thank you for joining in that dynamic stretch. Really appreciate that. Another good benefit of the vasodilation that ringing causes, or that ringing helps support, helps with muscle recovery. So again, that fresh oxygen helps us recover quicker. If you have tightness or soreness, it also helps dissipate that. So good little dynamic stretches. We're now going to go into box breathing. So box breathing, actually I should say we're going to try two different breathwork techniques. One of them is box breathing. And then if we have some time, we're going to use our hands for some intentional sensory activation. Box breathing, though, I'll give you a bit of an introduction before we go into it. It helps activate our parasympathetic nervous system. So that's the nervous system that's in charge of rest, recovery, and de-stress. It's the opposite of our sympathetic nervous system, which is in charge of our fight and flight mode. So again, find a comfortable seated stance. Distribute your weight evenly between your hips, back straight, shoulders down and open, chin parallel to the floor, feet firmly planted on the ground or crossed in front of you, whatever feels most comfortable. I invite you to close your eyes as you place one hand on your chest and one on your diaphragm underneath your rib cage. Begin to expand your breathing, slowing it down while also inhaling more air and more deeply, using the full extent of your lungs as you breathe in and using the full extent of your lungs as you breathe out, expelling all the air within. So keep this intentional breathing as I walk us through the breath work or the box breathing technique. What I'll do is I'll count to 4 and you'll breathe in as I'm counting. Then I'll pause for 4 seconds and you'll pause. And then I'll count back down and you'll be breathing out as I'm counting. And then again, pausing for 4. So in a GIF or in a visual format, you would have 4 seconds as you're breathing, 4 second pause, 4 second breathing out, 4 second pause, and then repeating it. Therefore, box breathing. So again, let's breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause for 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause for 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat this cycle for 3 more times at your own 4-count pace as I tell you a little bit more about box breathing. So again, this technique signals to our brain that we are not in danger and that we can actually ease into our body and mind as our whole body regulates and replenishes its oxygen levels. This technique is used in a lot of high-stress occupations and situations, such as with Navy SEALs and those experiencing panic attacks, because it's a quick and easy way to self-regulate. Feel free to return to your eyes open once you're done with your cycles of box breathing. How did that box breathing feel? Feel free to drop any comments or feelings in the chat. And as you do that, I'll share one last breathing technique called starfish breathing, where we use our hands to slow down, connect with our bodies, and remind us where we are in the external world. This is a really simple technique for people that don't have a lot of time or maybe don't want to practice something super intense. So what we do is when we're trying to slow down, we pick our hand. I think we have 5 minutes, it says, in our meeting. So we'll quickly go through it. You'll breathe in as you're also going up your hand. So every time you're breathing in, you're going up the hand. You're pausing here. It doesn't have to be 4 seconds. It could just be a quick pause. And then you're quickly exhaling as you're going down your finger. So, and then you're pausing again before breathing in. Pausing, and then, and so you'll do this throughout your whole hand. And again, trying to slow it down. And then again, uses the same technique as box breathing, but slightly different, and also connecting you sensorily with your own body. So reminding you, hey, I'm actually here in the external world. I'm not inside my ruminating head. So again, simple, quick, easy way to locate yourself in the presence. So I wish we had more time, but unfortunately we are coming to a close. So I hope that these quick, easy ways to reinvigorate, refresh your mind and body were useful, and that you can carry them with you throughout the rest of the day and your daily life. Before we close, I'll give you one last practical tip that you can take with you. Again, as you're going through your day, maybe you need a little break. A nice, easy way to connect with your body and your mind, refresh and reset it, is to go on a nice 10-minute walk around the block and use your 5 senses. So as you're walking through the neighborhood, notice as many things that you can see, as many things that you can hear, as many things that you can feel, maybe the wind, maybe the person next to you. And also challenge yourself to bring a water or a snack so that you can also engage your sense of taste. So what you really want to do is try to engage all of your senses, reminding your body and your mind, I have a lot of things to do, a lot of to-do list on my chores, a lot of things to do on my to-do list, on my chores list. But right now I'm in my body. Right now I'm in the external world. Right now I'm connecting and cultivating a presence with myself and my environment. So if you like more wellness resources and takeaways, we do have a free education and resource hub called Inner Sanctum. I'll throw it in the chat so y'all can click on it and check it out. It has a lot of practical tips on promoting mindfulness, on promoting mind-body connection and environmental connection. You can also feel free to reach out to me for any collaboration opportunities or general wellness questions. Super happy to answer anything that you might have in terms of wellness. I'll drop in my email. Feel free to contact me directly. Again, thank you so much for this. Bringing back your intention for this morning. I remind you all to take that intention with you. And also remember that our energies and needs shift throughout the day. So that intention might change, and that's okay. Respect your limits, allow yourself to do the best that you can without judgment. All right. Appreciate your time and energy today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and use these practical skills.